Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Marie Holiday, and today is Monday, September the 28th, 2020. And before we get started on today's segment, um, just want to remind my subscribers and viewers, if you haven't subscribed, to hit the subscribe button and notification button. And I also want to thank everyone for taking time out of their life to support my channel. And so with that being said, let's get started. Um, the focus of this topic is going to be men in desperation mode. Men in desperation mode to either engage in a relationship or just to have sex with you. So let's get started. First of all, I want to share with the audience in terms of talking about men in desperation mode to either engage in a relationship or to have sex with you. First of all, I want to let everybody know that I am a veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps during Desert Storm era. I am well traveled. The audience is aware that in the military, what the men outnumber the women, 300 to 1. So I've served my time in the military, got an honorable discharge. I've lived in many different cities, different states, different country, surrounded by men. And even what I observed during my experience of not just being into the military, but my experience of being well traveled, meeting people from all walks of life, just observing men in terms of their behavior. And I learned a lot. And along that journey, I also was able to pay attention and observe these men in desperation mode. Even all the way up until now, but especially throughout my military career, because the men outnumber the women, I observe these men in desperation mode, and I could write a book on it. So I'm going to share with the audience my personal observation with all of these different men from all walks of life on what desperation mode look like. A man in desperation mode, first of all, is going to give that woman excessive compliments. I mean, he's going to compliment about everything from A to Z. He's going to compliment her, oh, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. He's going to compliment her hair. He's going to compliment her skin, compliment her teeth. I don't care if you got a horrible scar on your face. He's going to give the woman excessive compliments. And one of the things I did throughout my life and throughout my journey, especially in dealing with men, when a man is giving me excessive compliments, if he said, "Oh, you're the most beautiful woman I met. You're a smart person. You're a great person. Got a great skin, great whatever," I would challenge that man and I would say, "What are you basing this compliment on? What do you know about me? What are you basing this compliment on?" And that's one of the ways I would respond. Another sign of a desperate man is the man will give the woman excessive and expensive gifts early on. He will shower her with gifts early on in the getting to know you phase, in the dating mode. And let me just describe to the audience what dating really is. First of all, what dating is not. Dating don't mean you need to be sleeping with men. Dating don't mean you're exclusively. Dating don't mean you need to be planning a wedding. Dating is just what it is. When two people agree upon to meet at a certain establishment in the natural environment to get to know one another, to develop a friendship, that is dating. So a sign of a desperate man is he's going to shower that woman with expensive gifts early on, taking her to expensive restaurants, going to wine and dine the woman. I seen this a lot when I was in the military. I've even had one situation where I went out on a date with a desperate man when I was in the military. Even throughout my life, the gentleman would actually go out and rent an expensive car just to impress that woman. I mean, so excessive gifts early on. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I took the gifts. I sure did. I took them gifts. Um, but that didn't mean I was sleeping with them. If a man want to shower me with gifts, cause he in desperation mode, I'm gonna admit I took the gifts. Doggone did. Sure did. The clothes, coats, jackets, shoes, jewelry, and I took them. Another sign of a desperate man is a desperate man is going to be moving too fast. You may have just gone around on one date. And what I mean by moving too fast, a woman may just go out on one date with the man. This actually happened to me recently. And then he's going to immediately try to introduce you to his family, his sister, his mother. That's moving too fast. That's a sign of a desperate man. And I literally recently had that happen to me a couple of weeks ago. Another sign of a desperate man is we talked about he will begin to spend early on, but not just spend money early on, you know, expensive gifts early on. Like I said, if they want to spend the gifts, I'm going to take them. But again, that's a sign of a desperate man. Another sign of a desperate man is he will, early on, he will ask the woman, are you seeing anyone else? And how my impression of how I took that, when a man asked me early on, are you seeing someone else? To me, I take that as a sign as a desperate man. And the reason why, because the man is asking that to get you to become exclusive with him, to get you on lockdown, to make you think that we are now a couple. And I have to slow a person down. No, a date is a date. Date don't mean that I'm just only gonna be going out with you. No, let me give you some clarity. So my interpretation when men ask that, they're in desperation mode. Another example, this actually has happened to me too. Another example of a man being in desperation mode, the man will randomly show up to establishments in regards to where he know you're gonna be. He will randomly show up. It can be at a museum, it could be at a park, it can be at a specific place to eat. That man will randomly show up in places where he know where you're going to be, and that's a sign of a desperate man. Another sign of a desperate man, and this one here gets on my nerve. Another sign of a desperate man is he will make excessive phone calls. He will excessively call the woman. That's another sign of a desperate man. Another sign of a desperate man is if he would double text the woman early on in a relationship, and that gets on my nerve too. And when you do decide to answer the phone, another sign of a desperate man, he would immediately go into, why didn't you pick up the phone? Why didn't you return my text? So all of those are indicators of a desperate man. Another sign of a desperate man is early on. It can be the first date. I remember about a few months ago, the first date, the man is already talking about wedding bells. The man is already proposing, let's get married. That's a huge indicator of a desperate man. All of these desperation tactics that the man is doing, that the desperate man is doing, does not impress a grounded woman, does not impress a woman with self-esteem. Because if a man really wanted to impress a woman, he is going to be wise enough to understand, first of all, what dating means. Dating, again, is when two people agree to go to an establishment in the natural environment, to engage in conversation, to find out about this person, to understand what dating mode means. Dating mode don't mean we're going to be sleeping together. Dating mode don't mean we're planning a wedding. Dating mode does not mean we are a couple. Dating is just what it is. So that's what impresses a woman. when a man when a man is grounded and understand what dating mode is versus showing all his desperation in the conversation. His conversations has no substance. Because when a man is in desperation mode, his conversation is going to have zero substance. So that's what impresses a woman who's grounded and who has self-esteem about herself. So men, please, please stop being desperate. It does not impress a grounded woman. You make yourself look silly. Develop conversations with substance. Stop being in desperation mode. And I have seen all of this is what I'm talking about. I've seen it all throughout my military career, all throughout my travels, all the way up to the present day. And what I discovered, especially when I was in the military and the men outnumbered the women 300 to 1, I literally utilized that opportunity in my time in life to observe these men, these desperate men, to observe their behavior, to listen to the words that came out of their mouth in desperation mode. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't go out on dates with some of these desperate men and took the gifts. I did, but that's about all it was. And I also studied their behavior, listened to the words that came out of their mouth in these men in desperation mode. So men, it's not cool. Don't impress grounded women who got self-esteem. Have some substance about your conversation. Have some sense of pride. Take out the time to get to court a woman, to get to know a woman in friendship mode, and understand truly what the word dating means. So audience, I hope you all got something out of this. Recognizing men in desperation mode, men stop it. And with that being said, I will see the audience again next time. Simplify. Have a great evening.